Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. So today I'm going to show you how to use a reference function in Microsoft Excel. So there are three references that we're going to go through in this tutorial. First is a relative function reference, and another one is absolute reference, and last one is a mixed reference. So let's look at the relative reference. So if you can see here, I have a table of year, total revenue, and total expenses. So in year we have from year 2001 until 2007, and we have a revenue in thousand and total expenses. So what I want to know is the net income. So the relative reference start with equal, and if I want to calculate the net income, means that the total revenue minus total expenses. So I just select total revenue for the first row and second column here, minus total expenses, C3, cell C3. So I just hit enter, so it will give us the net income value. So if I want to calculate for the rest years, so I just double point to the cell, the plus sign here, and then I click and drag to until 2007. So I will get all the value of net income. So this is the way how we use absolute reference, relative reference. So if you want to see the formula, you just hit formula tabs and click on show formula. So it will show us the formula, whether we are inputting the correct formula or wrong formula. So the relative reference is just a straight formula starting with the equal signs. If you can see here, equal signs, and selecting the first cell minus second cell, so I will get the net income value. So this is about the relative reference. So let's look at the absolute reference. So for absolute reference, see here I have a student, let's say student grades. So the total score for the grade is 100%. So now I want to calculate the percentage of let's say the first person, Anase, 95%, 95 marks score, he get a 95. I want to calculate the percentage. So by using the knowledge that we already learned on relative reference, so what we did is equal signs, we put the cursor to 95 before, divide with 100%. This is the total marks, right? So we will get the value. But if you can see here, I want it to appear percentage, but it appear in fraction, proportion. So what I need to do is just to select all the columns and right click on format cell. So on format cell, I just go to tab number, right, and select percentage. Let me choose single decimal place and click OK. So it will automatically convert my value to percentage. So again, as in a relative reference, what we did is we just drag to the bottom, so we will get the answer. But if you look at the value that Excel give us, this is exceed 100%, right? If you look into formula, show formula, you can see here our first formula is correct by 95%, 95 divided by 100. For the second row, the formula is wrong because the value of denominator is not 100 yet, because it's already dragged to 95. So what we need to do here is, instead of using relative reference, so we just select, let's say, let me hide the formula. So let me double click. We just double click here to get the formula, to adjust the formula. So let's say we highlight B3, which is our denominator. We want all the subsequent cells should be 100 means on the B3. So what we need to do is we need to highlight B3 and hit F4 on your keyboard. F4 on your keyboard. So when you hit F4 on your keyboard, you will see $B$3. So now what we Excel will do is, for if we drag down to the following cell, it will fix B on B column B3, cell B3, right? So now let's see the magic. Let's say I drag 95% here until the bottom cell, so the value will change. So if you look, if you click on show formula, now it will show you the denominator are all same, right? Okay, so this is about absolute reference, right? So for the next one is mixed reference, right? Mixed reference. So I have a mixed reference table, I have a multiplication table, I have a row header and column header. This is just for illustration only. What I want to do is I want to do a multiplication for this cell. For the first cell here, 10 should multiply with 1. For the second cell on the this column, 20 should multiply with 1. So if and for the second column, 10 should be multiplied with 2, and so on lah. If I want to select this column, 40 should multiply with 4. So what we need to do is, by combining the knowledge on relative reference and absolute reference, so we just need to start with equal sign. 10 multiply with, so multiply with 1. So if you do this, if you select drop till down cell, so it will give us a wrong value. If you see the show formula, the second one, B7 multiply with C6, which is, this is not what we want lah. So what we need to do is, let's say I delete this one, so I just fix the value of C1. So I just hit F4, right? So I just hit F4, so I just drag to until 50. So this is the value that we want. But if I want to make it for the whole table, let's say I just select this one, drag 10 to 5, so it will not give what we need. What we need here is to 10 should be multiplied with 2, but instead of giving 10 multiplied with 2, it gives 10 multiplied with 1, right? So this is what not what we want lah. So what we need to do now here, instead of putting $sign on the both side for the C5, we just need to hit this one. So make sure on the left, on the right hand side. So means that it will follow for the right hand side. So if you hit enter, now we drag to the right, so it will do the correctly lah. 10 multiplied with 2 is 20, 10 multiplied with 3. Now this is not correct lah, because if you can see here, it will drag down here to 20. So what we need to do is, now instead of putting only on the on the C5, right, $sign on the C5, we select B6, we hit F4. So now if we hit F4 for the both side, it will continuously hit B6 only. So we need to hit F4 again and again. So make sure $sign on the left hand side. So means that it will stick on the left hand side. So now we drag again, so we can see the value is changing, right? So now we can select everything and drag everything to whole table. So you can see here 50 multiplied with 5 is 250, 40 multiplied with 4 is 160. So this is about absolute mixed referencing. So if you see the show formula here, so what I did is I put dollar sign at the before B6 and dollar sign after C. So make this one will do is before B6 it will stick on B column. After BC5 means that it will stick on row number 5, but it will move on column D, E, F and G. So this is what Excel will do lah. So that's all for relative reference, absolute reference and mixed reference. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.